Deadstar, this is a quick recording. You mentioned about wanting a description for the album, and I decided I'm gonna try to make myself write a description every day for all of my days off, because I heard that's what writers do. They make a lot of revisions. You don't just use the first one that you write. You write it several times to get it right, to get it perfect. But so I just wrote up a quick one today, and we can tweak it and alter it. I will read it to you. Okay, so 2 people, friends, writers, artists, former pen pals of 2 years correspondence, not quite strangers, but never having met in real life. Within the backdrop of the pandemic, are pulled closer and start a spoken word project to pass the time spent in isolation and cope with all the fear and uncertainty. A story pieced together from random journal entries from one of the friends' pasts, as well as a last chance to share her life stories with someone in case of an early death. A story within a story, surrounded by stories, a fun and sometimes serious wild ride within 2 lives meeting up in a turbulent time. When I was quite young, I stood with my dad on the water decks of a lake and watched his friend almost drown. I didn't even know it was happening because of how it was handled. I mean, the guy was thrashing and asking my dad to help him. My dad can't swim. I thought he was pretending because the way each was acting, like violent apathy. The guy wasn't even yelling, or maybe he was. The memory isn't clear, but I looked at him and then my dad, and my dad had a weird, indescribable face like he was stuck. He wasn't even yelling back. He was shaking his head and nearly whispering, mouthing the words. I asked him why he didn't help him, and my dad looked down at me so scared and said, "I can't swim." It didn't feel real. It felt like watching TV. January 19th, 2012. This is a dream I had. I'm running with my friend away from rapists and murderers. She doesn't understand the danger properly, and I struggle to make her go faster. I practically drag her along. They are shooting arrows in the sky and setting off bombs. Now I'm in a car with mom and brother. We drive through the mayhem and watch arrows go through people and bombs go off. Drive by dying people in critical condition. I start crying because we can't help them. We just keep driving. I weep uncontrollably. I feel deep pain. Angry, full of nonsense king yells that his ketchup is doing nothing but making everything delicious. But why, sire? What's wrong with that? His servants cry in anguished confusion. These messages are in my outbox, so I sent them to someone. Yes, just thinking about you, actually. I'd set my phone on my bedside and lay on my front with my eyes closed with earnest intentions of sleep, even with impatience vibrating in my being, making my foot twitch and fidget. I've been thinking about infinity and balances. I know I should welcome silence the way I take joy in noise. I see my phone as a portal. It connects me to the people I care about. My eyes were shut and I saw pretty colorful strings. The portal from me to you. I saw it getting thinner and blinking, a sign of natural balance. It's less full of life, unused at the moment. I tried to accept it, and then my phone vibrated. There's a ship coming down in the middle of the storm. It was coming down sloppily, or pieces were flying off. It was coming down at top speed, and we were discussing all the factors about that. think I was at a spaceship academy for flying ships. I just remember watching that big ship coming down in the rain. May 30th, 2014. Cherries bloodier than a rare steak, something you just can't fake. This is not what goes on a cake. Stares blanker than a freshly manufactured slate. Cranky, cantankerous mistake. Cauterize the slight and get back in the fight. I want to participate in destruction and creation. I want to do both simultaneously in my art. Who am I to you? Am I brave and bold, headstrong and relentless, never doing what I'm told, always acting on whims? Am I too cold, never opened up? Is my mouth quiet because I talk more with my gaze? I'm winking a new alphabet, I'm staring in foreign emotions. My iris is just full of all sorts of notions. I jump right into hesitations, I play up to reality, I dress coverage down. Am I sugar or cream? Am I cry or scream? Am I in between? That's me, extreme. Oh, I said am I in between extreme, and then with an arrow pointing at an R, it says that's me. Revved up to get out of here. I've been really stuck in my head lately, or like it can take me a while. Like, you know that buffering symbol when your phone's loading? I feel like my brain's doing that when someone like intercepts me and I'm still like really in my head, and I have to like, there's a buffering where I have to come back to reality, and I don't know, I'm just like kind of, I can be really bad at, I'm just out of practice, I think. Here's the thing that's maddening about this situation. I have a lot of things to say. I have a lot of things on my mind. But as soon as someone says, what's up or what's new, and my mind goes blank. And I think, you know what? It's probably a stress response. That's my brain going into a fear state where I'm just like immediately just caught off guard. And I guess I don't feel like I can be myself with people, or I'm so used to people thinking that I'm weird, telling me that I'm weird, and the rejection really hurts, and it's stuck in my mind, and it's this familiar tape that's played in my head. So now, like, I've had this happen to me enough times that I think that part of it is a fear of rejection and just expecting people to think that I'm weird or respond in a negative way. So I'm constantly like filtering and editing myself to the point of total silence. 2:18 p.m. My legs feel super weird today. I might have gotten that weird disease that claims the use of my legs. I'm doomed! Messages in my outbox. I cannot convey to you my deep frustration in not being able to create anything new, in lacking the inspiration to see the angles I know are there. Have I become lazy too? Am I simply not exploring enough? I'm telling you I am. Desperate measures have been taken, and I feel so past dead. When will I be revived? And what will do it? Music to wake up my head and spirit, food to produce a chemical reaction. Am I lacking imagery? I haven't found much new I enjoyed looking at, and I can't see anything in my head. It seems I've stretched myself and find I am in low tide, and this beach has been roped. No shells or fish, not even sand, like the bottom of the ocean is made of linoleum. I had a dream where I found myself living inside a realm called the Hour Tube, where I lived for precisely 1 hour, and once that hour changed, so did I. Everything that happened in that hour was wiped and forgotten. I lived in the now of the hour. It was a peculiar feeling. I remember feeling some resistance in that wanted to remember certain hours. I might have retained a journal, but I'm not sure. Maybe I only thought about using a journal but took no action. Maybe because it was impossible. I texted Steven telling him that we should dress up like caterpillars and climb trees in the park. September 25th, 2012. Bird burial photo. Someone's parrot died and they took a photo of it in the dirt in the hole. You can't see the eyes, it seems to be face down. The last message cut off the poem because there just wasn't enough time, so this is the continuation of that poem. Missing stomach contents, disgust, distrust. All this leads to hatred, trembling, foreboding, malignant clash of emotion, death of the senses, entrance into numbness, apathy, saturation. When the weight is too heavy, the words get trapped underneath and my mouth becomes a gate. I am escaping. There will be no direct contact, no reaching out, no confessions, no brief glimpses, no eye contact, no touching, no shuffling, no muttering, no flushing. I am paper, I am paper, I am paper, opaque structure. I am not here, I am not here, I'm not here, disappear. It's hard to get excited for a specific day when you get lost in the jumble of days, and it's like you're walking downhill to attain something at the bottom, and you trip and roll down a ways, and you get back up in a daze, and suddenly it seems a lot closer than it should be, like the waiting process was sped up and completely canceled itself out, ruining the beauty of the excitement of waiting for something. In the first place, 2/23/10.
Okay, so I just wanted to read the letter from before to try to see if, like, to close up this letter, to touch on other touch points that resonated, because I'm kind of manic and I'm all over the place, so I just needed a review. The picture was the most resonating, like, vibrant thing in my mind. Like, I just fixated on that and only it. And then I opened up your new email and it said, I feel the need for some validation of my physical existence, which just that connected to the picture, because that's exactly what it communicates. It feels like a ghost picture, and like how you keep talking about how you feel you're feeling unreal, or you don't know, and then this comes in, and I'm being salty with my words, but I'm really excited because it all ties together, and that's exactly what the picture communicates, and the picture is a strong image, and I freaking love it.
The world said, your grief is too heavy, too black, too dense, too much for me. Please be quiet and keep it away from me. Put it away out of sight. Bury it deep inside yourself. And when all traces have ceased from display, then come out and play. Please forget everything. Put it out of your mind. Drown it in whatever works, whatever you have to, at any and all costs. Hide it, even if it kills you. It's uncomfortable for me and I don't understand it. You're too serious. You don't know how to play. Your grief has hollowed you out and swallowed you, and I can't accept you this way. So please, make it go away. Or you need to leave. You're bumming me out. You're bringing the mood down. No one here wants to examine your scars or think about how they got them and who they received them from. Why can't you move on? You're stuck. Ouch! The paper planes poke me in the face. They're all over the place. God damn, these kids are obsessed with origami. And here's a poem I wrote. I'm a girl made of rope. Most days I am a tightrope, pulled taut and linear, for those who are composed with good balance to walk over. When I read poetry, I become a hammock, draped in the sun. On Sunday, I hold up dirty laundry, soak it in water, scrub, tie it up, forget everything. Amazing bowl, full of grace. I did once hunger, but not any longer. My bowl was bare, but now sits there. Up to the brim full, at last I'm whole. Amazing bowl. When I'm baked like this, I can crawl under the blanket and lay face down and propel my foot side to side, rocking my body. And I feel like I'm in the washing machine, or I'm in it getting swished about. But what if I was a masochist shoe, and I liked very much the singe and the high heat cycle banging into the hot metal walls? I close my eyes smiling and imagine myself being beaten with an iron. I eat a lot of apples. I'm starting to feel like a worm. I'm envisioning my facial features disappearing and my limbs shrinking to nothing, and I'm left as a large, elongated pink noodle. I dreamt you handed me a calculator with very important calculations on the screen. I felt a little sleepy but looked at it anyways, since you were so determined to show me. The screen was full of nonsensical mathematics. The space value was nil. The crowded features stressed me out, and I panicked and pressed the clear button without thinking it might be something important. You didn't want deleted. I handed it back and apologized that I'd accidentally erased it, and you gasped with large eyes like I'd committed a serious uh-oh. My mom bought me a bowl. She knocked on my door and presented it to me. A simple white bowl with good depth and the capacity to hold thoughts. I said thank you and laughed, humored, but actually very pleased with the bowl. I asked her why, and she said, because you like bowls, you eat out of them all the time, and this one is coral and nice and big. If I imagine my father as a mallard duck with a green head and beak, I find it easier to be here and civil. We're just ducks with feathers and awkward webbed feet. It's okay. Hey Deadstar, I'm just gonna send this quick voice message now while my mood is so good, because I'm having a really good day. I'm in a really good place mentally and just feeling extremely optimistic. And I just wanted to say in regards to the message you wrote about how you didn't know which parts, what you were getting confused about which parts to use for the project. I'm just gonna keep sending them if you're enjoying them, because I really don't know what the heck to do with it either. And maybe that's okay. Maybe we can just enjoy the process and decide later what we want to do with it, because I understand it. It's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. I have a shit ton of work, and this has always been what's kind of paralyzed me, because I'm like, I don't know what the common thread is here, and I don't know how to take all these pieces and put them into a cohesive whole that has nice flow and makes sense, because it's really random and chaotic, and I'm at a loss for how to put it together. There was a freakishly large dalmation in my dream. I'm not sure it was okay. It may have been somehow threatening. It had weird glossy eyes, and its coat had a sheen to it. I might have been the only one able to see it. So I used to have this pet rabbit, and this is a poem I wrote when I was probably 18, I'm pretty sure. So here it is. My rabbit hops to get around in frantic leaps and graceful bounds. He does not walk and cannot run quite the way us humans can. But do not fuss and do not fright, for my rabbit gets around all right. He goes wherever he pleases, out in the open, in large parameter, to behind bookshelves and tight squeezes, and to many other spots in no place particular. My rabbit hops about in rampant rapture, his pleasure clearly evident in his absurd, lively manner. Until finally he settles down with legs outstretched, my rabbit is ready for a rest. A bee sting, a throbbing thumb, cat shit in the sandbox, a little brother hogging the big dump truck, a large hill for cars to drive up, around and around, and park at the top and then go down after. Hard dry ground, walking up and down the driveway, a cat in my doll stroller for seconds until I settle for my doll as a much better candidate for sitting still. What I texted Mandy at 1:15 a.m. I should start dating people, a whole bunch, suddenly, rapid fire, make brief stops and form shallow and deep connections, walk in and out of people's lives like a suggestion, tread faintly, walk heavily, move up on my guile, push down my denial, push the things down that need to be denied in order to proceed, push it all down, stomp it into the carpet, walk away, avert my gaze, forever from the stain, make no further mention of it, never again bring it up in conversation. Yesterday, I had a dream that I had to move out of my bro's basement, and I was really depressed and taking a long time to move my stuff out into my new place. For some reason, my parents showed up at my new place, and I was so angry I began yelling, "Get the fuck away from me, get out!" And my dad looked afraid and told my mom he didn't think I wanted them there and left. My mom stayed and looked at me and started talking in her annoying, soft, trying to help voice. She said she knows I'm depressed and she's here to help. I yelled and said, "Get away from me, get out." And she started to come towards me. I was running out of energy and anger mixed with terror, and I turned to run and she was chasing me upstairs. I became so mad that I was getting so tired and weak and kept falling and stumbling, begging her to get away. And finally I fell and just lay burning in helpless anger. She towered over me and rolled me onto my back, and my face was blank and my eyes stared nowhere. I couldn't talk. I felt an intense hatred sucking all my strength, and I had tears in my eyes because I couldn't make her understand just to get away from me. I remember this dream, and I'm not sure why I didn't include the last little bit, because I remember that in the dream, at the very end of the dream, she reached out and touched my forehead, and my head started burning, and I woke up and my forehead was still burning. April 26, 2017. Every moment since I awoke has been spent grappling and coming to terms with things that I cannot change. My heart pangs at the losses and the desires that shrivel, unwatered, unsatisfied, and slowly dying, or simply shutting down and going into hibernation. I am thinking of everything I've gained along the way, the knowing that is becoming clearer after the vast distance and uncertainty that I walked. Everything is going to be okay, and I am happy today. I am. This is just like a little poem blurb. It feels like a love poem that I once wrote to someone. You make me feel change in motion, a building construction, an idea, a plan, a hand, a brick, a wall, a bridge. What's happened? What's happened? You make me feel a connection, a direct link, a brink, a transfer, a call with an answer. You make me feel hope, light, life, strength, assertive alertness and receptivity, powerful and connected. You make me feel hope. You make me feel period. You affect me. You peel me back layer by layer and envelop me like a cloud of fragrance that gets trapped in my clothes, and I'm smelling your smell for days afterwards, hugging my loved ones and coming into contact with total strangers, spreading you around. Particles of fragrance rub off on family and friends and parts of you that affected me are now affecting them. You make me feel an effect and reaction. I just don't know what my dad is to me. I don't know what having him in my life means, and I'm not even talking about his involvement or presence. The mere fact of just knowing he still exists. I wonder how it would feel. I wonder how it would change me if I found out that he died. It's curious and frightening. I worry about it, kind of, in the back of my mind. There's a little voice saying, please don't go before I realize what this means, before it's too late to forgive you. That's the best service ever. That's what she said. Surely this one compliment soothes and smooths over all the insults of the day. When I was younger, I used to think if you laid with a cat and he shut his eyes first to sleep, that it meant he really trusts you and the bond is strong. I laid by my cat and heard the birds chirping in his dreams. I've been listening to a lot of TED Talks, and I usually don't like TED Talks because I find them kind of preachy. And I've kind of avoided them in the past. Like, they're really interesting, and like I understand, and like some of it I want to embrace, and then some of it is just like, it's just too much. It's too much for me. It's a bit much. Anyways, so I've been listening to the TED Talks, and they went over Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and they were talking about sleep and how it is not prioritized enough, and all the importance. And I've been hearing more and more about how important sleep is and how detrimental a lack of sleep is. So I'm listening to it and I'm kind of like freaking out because I haven't been sleeping very good lately. Like, I've been staying up until 4 a.m. and then waking up at 10. And that's probably why I've been having all those like giant naps in the day, because I haven't been sleeping at night. I've just kind of been sleeping all over. It occurred to me today, though, that maybe I'm kind of like having a manic episode because I feel really turned up lately and my writing is really good. I'm very grateful for feeling so vibrantly right now. I'm very grateful for all the thoughts and the words that are flowing. There was an accident. I was a caterpillar eating, and I ate too fast and desiring. I ate my own hands and had to elbow myself across the branch, perspiring. I do not resent the hurt, loss, or loneliness anymore. They were paths leading me to the words that would comfort me, the poetry that would wake me back up to my life. They were paths leading me to words, leading me to worlds I'd forgot to keep believing in. I do not resent the hurt, loss, or loneliness anymore. They were what created the need to escape. They were what brought me back to words, and the words was what brought me back to life. I just read this random note that said, weird pickup lines. 1, I want to get inside your washing machine. And then another note that says, what's your talent? And then underneath I wrote, finding cool shit. I do have a knack for finding interesting knickknacks. And that's it. I finished my smoothie, so there you go. Enjoy. Bye. What I was seeking all winter has been attained. In a nutshell, life is a game you play for the sheer pleasure of it, or rather, experience of it. For life is not always pleasurable, but it is a precious experience, and there is surely no other like it. So whatever you do, do it. It is because I understand that this is a beautiful gift, and the nature of it is so ambiguous and precious, that I will let go of what has hurt me, what has consumed me, and lived burning in my flesh, a negative force weakening my defenses. Everything that seemed at once so dire in importance that the entire universe was in balance upon it, I will let it go and give myself up to this wonderful flow. That's obviously not the answer to everything, nor for everyone, but it will do for me for now. Hey, Deadstar. There's some. You know what? I just had a thought. A thought just occurred to me that there's something like specifically relaxing and soothing about cooking, making food at night in the summertime in July. Takes me back, and I've got the stove going, which had 2 burners going. I shut one off, but it's still probably pretty warm. And I've got some noodles bubbling. Hold on, let me get some bubbling sounds for you. Right? It's just like kind of relaxing. Nice little backdrop sound. So yeah, it's like, it's hot. My stove's on. My oven's on because I got stuff in the oven as well. Got this fan going. My washing machine's going. Got that like humming sound. There's like a soft wash of light mixed with shadow in my apartment. The place where I'm cooking being the most well lit, and then as you move out from that space, it gets darker and more shadowy. And maybe it's like, maybe because it's nighttime and you have that like ambient nighttime vibe, like that sound or the lack of sound because it's so quiet. I am intelligent, curious, resourceful, creative, determined. I am adaptive. I will adapt to the situation by working hard to cultivate my strengths. I have courage. I don't want to be a victim or a defeatist. I do things. I face them, even though I'm scared. I do them anyways, like going to that house party with Mandy. I am flexible and buoyant. I get down and I get back up. I will continue to make an effort to reach out to others and strengthen my connections and figure out how to fulfill myself. I will be more apt at dealing with rejection and disappointment. Maybe next time I'll be able to not be so overwhelmed with thought and emotion. Also, I won't take it so personally and will not react with resentment. I will accept things and stay loving and open. I feel like I'm attuned to my path. I'm on course to healing myself. Everything that's happened has made me who I am right now. This is the closing poem, the last poem in this journal. Wednesday, 1st of August. Leaving behind restricting thought patterns, shutting the doors on old past beliefs and behavior. Closure, closing, laying to rest, and moving past. You are a light in my path. It is impossible to be your friend and not be opened and transformed by your essence. Your soul is the photosynthesis.